Shoot. Okay, I ended the broadcast. Shoot. I don't even know how to go live again. Let's see. I don't want to look. You may have to come back in on me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let me do that.
Okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're on. Okay. It's still saying internet broadcast. Okay. Shoot. I don't know why it's doing that.
You want me to leave and come back in? You
Yeah,
said
leave. You leave and come back. Yeah, let me take us out.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Carol. Okay, says 5. Carol, I don't know where you are.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We are excited to be here. A little technical difficulties, but we are here. And this is October theme for Build Your Best Life. Hey, Miss Deborah is on vacation, and I am Carol Crockett filling in for her. And so tonight we have a very special topic and have a very special guest that I'm excited to be on with. And so tonight, y'all, we are going to talk about positive living, ultimate success. That is the October theme for Build Your Best Life. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some positive things. So, do you want PT, positive thinking? Do you want to live life dreading every day? Or do you hate going to work? Or is your life dull and doomed? Perhaps your thinking is the blame. Have you tried positive thinking? Positive thinking is genuinely the way to go. We don't ever want to be around a bunch of negative people, but positive thinking is the way to go. When you have positive thinking, you will enjoy life. You will see the good in situations, and you will have more empathy for others. You will complain less, and guess what else? You will be able to love more. So, if you are here tonight, we just want to welcome you to Build Your Best Life. And we look forward to you commenting. But tonight, my special guest, or Deborah's special guest, is tonight Sheila Walker. So when we talk about this positive thinking, we want you to walk away trying it, and you might find that you love it. PT, positive thinking. So, Sheila, welcome back. Please tell everyone about yourself.
I am Sheila Walker, and I work in education. I'm the community liaison at the high school where I work, and enjoy what I do. Have been in the education piece for about almost 30 years, 28 years. This is my 28th year. So I'm so excited to be here this evening to talk about positive thinking and being positive in your life. And like Carol said, negative energy is not a good thing to have around you, because how many when there's negative energy, sometimes it causes us to be negative because someone is around us being negative. So if you always think positive, or most of the time, then you can, when you have think positive, you have positive outcomes.
Absolutely. Well, positive thinking or an optimistic attitude is the practice of focusing on the good in any given situation. So, with that being said, Sheila, in your opinion, do the majority of the students, since I know you're in education and you are constantly connected with children and students, so do you think, or in your opinion, do the majority of the students think positively or negatively? And if either one, kind of tell us how you've come to this conclusion. Do they think
It just
positively?
depends. Yeah, it depends on the. I'm sorry, Carol. It
No, you're
depends
fine.
on the situations, because I work in the southern sector of town where it's a low socioeconomic area, and
Mm-hmm,
sometimes I do encounter kids that have negative outlook in their life.
mm-hmm,
So what I try to do is to help them to look for the positive in things that they do. But it's kind of hard when you come from the backgrounds of everybody is negative, or no one cares about me,
mm-hmm.
or like I deal with students all the time. Sometimes students don't have meals at night.
Oh,
They come
wow.
to my room to get food, or we don't know who came in this morning or didn't have lights, or there was a shooting in the area, or it's a lot of that going on. But the thing about it is, when they come to my room, I try to have a peace in my room. A lot of
Mm-hmm,
them come in, it's like, oh, Miss Walker, your room smells so good, or it's so nice in here. And so they come in here just to kind of get away sometimes,
mm-hmm,
whether it's breakfast or lunch. So
mm-hmm.
we provide those things for them, and those tools for them to be successful. I provide backpacks, clothes,
Oh, wow.
school
Mm-hmm,
supplies, sometimes bus passes, sometimes gift cards. It just depends on what's going on. But I'm definitely here for the students, and
absolutely.
and to be on a positive, to do positive things
Mm-hmm.
with them and for them, it's just very helpful for the students and or the parents as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sheila, that's so interesting that you say that, and you say, you live in, you talk about the southern sector of town, and we live in Dallas, just in case someone doesn't know. But even like you said, sometimes it's the environment that causes some of the negativity, and sometimes grateful to you that you do try to provide a more optimistic view as to what maybe perhaps they live in every day, or like you said, you don't really know what they had to walk through, go through, see through, or even experience, uh then those things that we would say or deem as being negative. So interesting that you said that. But I know you work very closely with what is it, what is it,
Youth Revive. Youth
Youth
Revive.
Revive. And I really think that's a great program too, that you guys, help the children in school and help them to find something positive within their neighborhood, and even help them to be, I've heard this before, if there's a problem, you need to be the solution. And so you
Right,
guys
right,
help
right,
them
right.
come up with things that they can do to
Mm-hmm.
be a solution to their community. And I really
Yes.
love connecting with that, because sometimes that's the only way they will be able to see things in a very different light, if
Right.
somebody don't cause them to be able to look beyond really where they are, or those kind of things. So kudos for you for having backpacks and food, and like you were saying, even when they come in your room, there's a different smell, there's a different atmosphere. And because you offer that, some that's a positive feeling for them to be able to experience something that's positive.
Right, right, right.
Well, tell us why positive thinking is so critical to our success. Why is positive thinking so critical?
It's very critical for our success because it helps us through the day. And I
Hmm.
think about these students, sometimes they don't know what they're going to do, like, especially after graduation. And you
Hmm.
ask them questions like, what is your goal? What do you plan on doing? Some of them just say, I don't know. And so
Hmm.
I always often challenge them. And I say, the next time I see you, I need you to have an answer. I
Wow.
don't know, it's
Hmm.
not going to be an answer. I need you to come up with something that you like doing or something you would like to do
Hmm.
in your future. And not all students are going to college. So that's just reality now. So I
Hmm.
push them in a way that they start thinking about their next. Like I challenge them and ask them, so how do you plan on supporting yourself in the future?
Hmm.
So they may have trade schools. Some of them
Hmm.
have chosen military. Some of
Hmm.
them have just chosen to leave, graduate high school and just get a job. But I
Right.
often still tug on them, like, is the job that you're getting, are you going to be able to take care of yourself? Because you
Right.
can't live at home forever. I mean, some people, some families do.
Right.
I have encountered with some other cultures that they do stay home until they can get it together. They stay
Mm.
home and they help support the families
Hmm.
until time for till they save up enough money. They
Hmm.
pull all their resources together to help
Hmm.
one family member out at a time. So
Okay.
as we talk about being positive, I always talk to the students about being positive, even in the house. I mean, we hear so much in the house with our students with their language, and I just kind of redirect them. It's like, hey, that's not how young ladies talk, or that's not how young men talk. And sometimes, I know I may get in trouble for it, but sometimes I have pulled students in my classroom and prayed with them. Sometimes
Yeah.
if parents come here and they in a distress moment and they're homeless or whatever, I've prayed with families. So
Hmm.
I don't let
Hmm.
that stop me. So people just know me for who I am, and the kids, they'll say this new word. I don't even know if this is a word. Miss Walker is the plug. I'm like, what is the plug? So the plug is that I have everything they think. So and like I tell them all the time, if I don't have the resources, I'm gonna definitely find out how I can get the resources to help
Hmm.
you to be successful. So that's basically who
Hmm.
I am and what I do in education, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love when students graduate and they come back and they say
Yeah.
thank you. You know,
Mhm.
so many
Absolutely.
often I've had students to graduate high school and I've made a promise to them, I'm gonna come to your college graduation. And I have.
Mhm.
So those are the things that kind of bubbles me up inside is to
Mhm.
make sure that
Mhm.
I'm being, being there for the students and the
Right.
families. Because there are some parents here that
Mhm.
really need somebody to kind of tug on them and help them
Mhm.
be
Right.
successful, even looking for jobs. We have all types of resources to help parents find jobs. We have resources for homelessness. We have resources for people that have second chance apartments or whatever. So
Mhm.
there's
Mhm.
so much that the district has to offer to help families. And so by me just if I can't find it, if I don't know, I'm gonna definitely call around or see what
Mhm.
I can do to help the students.
That is great, Sheila. So now we know that Miss Sheila Walker is positive. Miss Sheila Walker is going to be, she will pray with you. And also now, Miss Sheila, you got the plug, right?
I'm the plug. I guess that's
I'm
what
the
the new
plug.
word is for the kids,
Uh-huh.
probably. I
But
don't
that is
know.
great. Yeah. And like you said, all our kids won't go to college, but a trade school is still positive if you can learn to take care of yourself. And then like you just shared, there are some family members that's their culture that one helps the other one until they have all reached a place where they feel like they can successfully live on their own. But even with that, that's not negative. That's just a different culture or a different
Yes.
way of thinking.
Hmm.
So sometimes we can't take because it doesn't fit what we think and
Hmm.
call that that's negative, because
Right, right, right,
every
right,
culture
right.
has something different. But the
Right.
ultimate thing is, I like the fact that they say they can come to you. You're gonna be, I mean, I can imagine coming in that room with that atmosphere that smells pleasant and that's calming, and be able to know that there's something that they're gonna plug into Miss Walker with, that they can get, whether it's resources, whether it's information, whether it's prayer, whether it's just a place for them to come and breathe sometime. Then
Right,
that
right,
is
right,
I think it's a safe place where you are
right,
offering them. But
right.
even to extend it even further, Sheila, that I didn't know that the district had those kind of resources for the families, and that's Dallas ISD that we kind of
Exactly.
that we push and talk about. But though they're offering those kind of things, and I'm
Yes.
excited to hear that
Yes.
they're doing that, because I done taught 100 years back, but things are so different now,
It's a
and
lot
so
different.
it's a lot different. And so even to know that that is something that they are offering the
Hmm.
students and the family,
Yes.
and sometimes parents have become such young parents
Oh
that
yeah.
they don't really understand parenting,
Right.
I
Right.
mean, so
Right. Right.
just
Right.
to know that there's something in place to be able to not put them down, but to be able to offer them something that they can do. Because I believe this: everybody that's in a situation that's
Right.
may not be how they chose, it might not have been by
Right.
their
Right. Right.
choice.
Right.
And
Right.
so we have to take that into consideration. I love your compassion, and I know you. So I know that it's genuine and authentic, that you truly care about the children and the community that you serve. And so
Right. Right.
that is
Right.
just awesome, Sheila. So
Right.
let's get on here a little bit. I think we're about ready to hit a little bit of how can positive thinking help these students perform better with more parent engagement. How can that
Mm.
help them with the parent
Parent
engagement?
engagement. That is the hardest piece in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Parents feel like my child is high school, they're grown, they don't need me, but that's
Mm-hmm.
when students need you the most.
Mm-hmm.
I equate that to when I was raising my kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I never gave up on what I didn't care what grade they were in, all the way to 12th grade. I was there. Still now, I'm there,
I was
and
gonna say,
even with grandkids. But it helps when parents are engaged with their students. It helps them with a positive outlook. Some of them
mm-hmm.
would say, I don't want my mother here. But when the parents show up, you can see that sparkle in their eyes.
Right, right.
When parents show up at football games, when parents show up when
Mm-hmm.
they have a performance, You can see
Mm-hmm.
that sparkle in their eyes. You can see the sparkle in the parents' eyes when they see their child is excelling.
Mm-hmm.
Even when little Susie is having a bad day, and I said, you know what? Do you want me to call your mom? Yes or no? Because sometimes they've had a out with their parents that morning, especially girls. You know how it is with girls and mothers. You know how
Mm-hmm.
we are. And so with teenagers, especially because when we were teenagers, we wanted to be grown. We thought we were grown. You know,
Wanted to
parents
be
didn't,
anyway.
the parents didn't know anything. That was from the old school. That was old time. They didn't do that then. But they were doing the same thing we were trying to do, but it was just in a different era. So
Exactly.
when young ladies come to my class and they're crying because they've had a fight with their mother, and I
Mm-hmm.
this is what I often tell them. I said, text your mother, tell her you're sorry. But I didn't do anything. It doesn't matter. Tell your mother you're sorry. Just text her. I said, just send a text and say, I'm sorry, mom, I love you. So that
Mm-hmm.
little girl tried that. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, how was the outcome? She said it was better when I got home. So
Wow.
we have to use some of those strategies, some self talk that we wish we'd had when we were teenagers.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
as I continue to work and listen and look at education, because I don't know, Carol, but a lot of times when we were growing up, our parents didn't listen. It's just shut up, you get over there and you sit down, and you don't have an opinion.
You didn't have no dialogue.
You don't have nothing. You don't go back and forth. But nowadays, kids have dialogue and they go back and forth, but it's the way you do it. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we wish our parents would have listened to what we had to say. We had something to say, but they never heard it because we couldn't tell them.
Right. Right.
So when I talk to young ladies and young men too, when they
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation with their parents, let them understand what you're going through, even if it's great. I even have some young men that are raised by single mothers or single
Mm-hmm.
fathers. Single
Mm-hmm.
fathers were not even known of when we were growing
That's
up.
true.
It was
That's
single
right.
mothers, but not
Mm-hmm.
single. We have a lot of single fathers in high school. A
Wow.
lot of dads are raising kids for
Wow.
whatever circumstance it is, but they're
Mm-hmm.
doing an excellent job. And
That's good.
so they're just not raising boys, they're raising girls. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
I look at those things and I look at how I can help assist them be positive on their
Mm-hmm.
daily. When I see kids in the house, it's like, why are you in the house? Miss,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to class right now. Or some of them
Mm-hmm.
may say something smart or fly or whatever. And I just remind them, look, if I didn't care, I wouldn't say anything to you. I've
Right.
been told I'm doing too much. Miss, you doing too much. You take your job too serious. Okay,
Uh-huh.
because I want you to be successful. And then the
Right.
next time I see them, when they see me, they'll know, oh, there's that lady who's gonna ask me where I'm going. So so oftentimes students, as the years go, especially if they start as a freshman here, and then by the
Mm-hmm.
time they become a junior or senior, they respect me more because
Mm-hmm.
I was the one of the ones that pushed them to the
Mm-hmm.
next, that
That's
pushed them.
good.
I have conversations with kids about, like I told you earlier, about what are you doing? Spoke with a young lady this morning, and I was like, how's your classes going? They're going good. I said, have you, she's a senior. I said, have you gone down to the educator? We have a partnership with the college piece that come on our campus. So have you gone down and done your FAFSA? Have you filled out your applications? Where do you want to go to college? So these are the kind of things when you have conversation with them that help
Mm-hmm.
them to look at a brighter future for them. So
Mm-hmm.
I just sometimes you wish that those things were happening when you were growing up, but they
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. So now I can pour into other young people and help them be successful. So
That's great, to be able to pour into the next generation. And like you said, when we were growing up, we probably had something to say, but at that moment, and these children now, they feel like they should be able to express
hmm
themselves. And so
hmm
even we have to, as older people, have to begin to look at that they're not just being smart at you, they
right,
are really wanting an opportunity to share, their side. Like you said, it used to be, okay, girl, be quiet, I'm talking, that's it. But no, we have to, times have changed, and like you
right,
just mentioned, Used
Right.
to be that we only had a lot of single moms, but
Right.
now just to hear you say that we got many single dads and
Right.
they are handling their business with their
Hmm.
young men and their young ladies. And so
Right.
the time has changed. And of course, we don't want to negate that there should be some respect on both sides.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
kids, they I think you show them respect
Hmm.
even when you have to discipline or put, call them out or not be the plug for them or whatever. But I think they will begin to appreciate that because
Hmm.
it's like I think John Maxwell say people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
exactly what they want to
Hmm.
know, that you care about them. And one thing I've learned too, these kids can spot a phony in the minute.
Hmm.
You got to be genuine. You have to be
Yes.
authentic, and you got to be genuine with them. You can't just come playing games with them. If you genuinely care, they're gonna continue to watch you to see if you
Hmm.
are really genuine
Hmm.
about what you're saying. So
Right.
yeah, I've learned that. I don't have a bunch of them at home, but got some grandkids. But
Exactly.
yeah. So some individuals may not realize this, Sheila, but there are different ways, not they are, but there are different ways of thinking. They don't know their words and their actions portray negative thinking. And so I thought I'd run off this thing, and I'm sure you heard that where it says, your thoughts become your words, your word become your action and
Yes. Yes.
character and
Yes.
all that. I'm
Yes.
sure you
Yes.
heard that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
so, but sometimes not only the students, but people don't realize that their words and action show so much negativity.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, what you say, and like you said, if there's someone that, you can be a positive person and you look at the glass half full, and the negative person gonna look at it as being
Half empty.
empty. But those, and then when, it's always the Debbie Downers, there's
Hmm.
nothing. If you say you look pretty today, oh, this is messed up on me. Oh, that's a pretty. This whole thing, and that
Hmm.
kind of thing. And so
Hmm.
sometimes we don't really know
Hmm.
how much how much negativity we put out with
Right.
our
Right.
words
Right.
and our actions.
Hmm. Right.
Well, please provide some signs of negative thinking. What's some signs that you
So
notice?
some signs of negative thinking, like you just said, if somebody says,
Mhm,
"Oh, I like your dress," and you, "Oh, this old thing," or "I got this, it cost me $25," or you start talking down on yourself. And we have
mhm,
to learn that if someone compliments you, just say thank you.
mhm.
And so, I mean, we as women, we do it ourselves.
We're horrible at
You
that.
know, we are our own self enemy. So it's about, oh, your hair, I like your hair today. Oh, I just, oh, no, I didn't even, So we have to think about that. So negative thinking, when you think negative, like I often hear students say something like, for instance, if the principal or say, I'm gonna do if you don't do this X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna take homecoming away from you. And the kids will say
Mhm.
something like, oh, she ain't gonna do nothing, or they'll
Oh,
say, yeah, so that, she just, even like they'll say with the beginning of school, everybody, all the teachers out in the hall, and the kids will say, well, it's not gonna last long.
oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So those those negative thoughts and actions, or if they have getting ready to have a football game, right? And you say to the kids, have a good game tonight. Well, we're gonna lose anyway.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Those kind of things like that. So you have to kind of redirect them. And I always tell the kids, even playing football or whatever you do, put your best on the field. Leave your
Yeah.
best on the field.
Mhm,
No, everybody is not going to win, but leave your best on the field. When you're out there, they going to
mhm.
know so and so had a good block out there. So even though the team didn't win, you lost as a team, but they're going to recognize, even if everybody's doing their best, but the score ends up the way, opposite or whatever, you still did your best.
Right. Right.
You did your best performance. So those negative thinking
Mhm,
skills, we have to kind of redirect our students and
mhm.
redirect ourselves into negative thinking, because we can think our own self into a
Right.
mess.
Right.
you know.
And I think sometimes people say, well, you got to reprogram your thoughts and stuff like that. But sometimes I believe we just got to learn how to program them
We
first,
just
because it's not
right,
necessarily we're reprogrammed, because
right,
sometimes that's how we've been. So we've got to learn how to program ourselves and program and begin to watch our words and watch
right,
the things we
right,
say.
right,
And
right.
even sometimes you got to do one of those negative chart lists or positive.
Yes,
How many times have
yes,
I said something negative? I think we
right,
used to do the kids like that. Every time you cuss, you're gonna put this nickel in the bottle
right,
or whatever.
right.
So even to begin to chart the positive things you say. And
Hmm.
I believe this. Sometimes we have to learn how to talk positive to ourselves
Right,
before we
right,
can learn how, or even
right,
begin to say positive things to other people.
right.
And I believe it all lines up and starts first with our thinking, because the
Hmm.
Bible does say, so as a man thinks, so
Yes.
is he. So if that's how we're thinking, then
Hmm.
your thoughts are going to become some of your words, and what you say
Right.
comes out of your mouth. And so sometimes you start acting like you,
Hmm.
like what you just said,
Right,
or
right,
you, or
right,
what
right.
you thought. You think you're going to lose the game, you're going to start
Yep.
speaking that. And if
Hmm.
you're on the football field, you might go out there and just don't put your best foot forward
Right, right,
and do
right,
your
right,
very
right.
best. So you're absolutely right. I think they all tie in
It
together.
all ties in together.
Mhm. And I think we have to I think you have to come up with a plan. If you know you're a negative person and you
Right,
want to change that, you didn't start getting negative overnight. And so
right.
it's not going to change into positive overnight. But I think you have to start having that self-talk. If you've been
Hmm.
talking negative to yourself, "Oh, I ain't gonna make no good grade. I'm not gonna, I'm
Right.
not gonna be able to get to school. It's too cold. Hey, Sheila, it's too cold for me to walk this morning." Those kind of things. But you have to begin to change some of that by
Hmm.
talking to yourself and
Right,
replacing some of that, with that positive. And I think even if you tell yourself you can do it and you don't get a chance to do it,
right.
you got tomorrow.
Yep.
Try again, and don't just
Right,
say, as they say, don't just stay in that negative place and
right,
waddle and don't
right,
try to come
right,
up out of
right,
it.
right. Well, the word tells us when you fall, get back up.
Get back up. Oh my God.
We are going to daily. We're not going to be. No one is going to have a perfect day every day.
Right, right,
If they
right.
do, I need to know who they are.
Jesus.
That's who it is.
That's the only person I can
That's
think
who
of.
it is. Because something is going to happen to cause us to think a certain way. I mean,
Right,
even if we get up in the mornings and we think, I'm gonna have a perfect day, or you get on the freeway and somebody's in your way, and
right.
you rush it and trying to get, but like, why you sitting, all of that kind of stuff. So, and then even when you walk into your job, you could walk in with a positive, and somebody else could come in negative, and you're like, now I want it, or you
Uh-huh,
speak and they
uh-huh.
don't speak, so
Right.
we can't take all of that in for
Right.
ourselves. So we have to continue to have self-talks
Exactly.
most mornings, and I've been doing this probably since school started. I wake up in the mornings and I turn on my worship music every
Right.
single morning, like every
Mhm,
single morning. I don't think I've been watching the news. I used to watch the news every morning as
uh-huh,
I'm getting ready,
mhm,
but now I have worship music on. I have worship music on, and I do some reading, and I do some about 30 minutes of exercise, and
mhm, mhm.
and then I get my day started. That's how I
Right.
get my day started. So
Exactly.
that's what's helping me to be positive, to live in a positive life, and to
Mhm.
help others. So when I come into school, I can be able to pour into these kids. I can't
Yes.
come in here bringing everything in with me. I oftentimes tell people, leave whatever you have in the car.
In
Leave
the
it,
car.
drop it at the car. If you want to pick it
Mhm.
back up when you get off of work, then that's what
That's
you do.
cool.
But in the
Mhm.
meantime, leave it there. So when you come in, you'll be able to, talk to people and help people out, because you can't help anybody being in a negative mood. You cannot.
No, you can't. Can't even help yourself,
You can't
really.
even
Yeah.
help yourself.
Mhm.
If you know you're gonna have one of those days, that's when you take a mental health day. Just stay
Yeah.
home. Don't even come. Just stay
Don't even
home.
come. Yeah,
Get back
because
in
you're
the
gonna
bed.
mess up the other people's
You're gonna
atmosphere,
mess up
right?
that. Just get back in the bed.
That is so true. Well, Sheila, can you provide some tips on the positive thinking? What kind of
Yes.
tips would you leave them with? Uh-huh.
I think I started out with that what I was talking about this morning. It helps me to get up and worship and get in the word
Mm-hmm.
daily. Everybody don't do that. Everybody don't even know who Jesus is, but
Right.
we when they see us, we know that it shines through us. So a lot of times
Right.
what we do impacts other people. So when you
Mm-hmm.
talk about positive thinking, even anything that I'm doing on my life, uh, I'm not only working education, I work at church. I'm my union president. So also with that, I have to take that on a positive note. Members are calling me, and the supervisors are treating them bad, whatever. So my first thing to them is, okay, sit down and talk to your supervisor first. Let's see how we can take care of this. So I'll email supervisor and say, hey, this is what's going on your site, on your campus. What can we
Right.
do? How can we work together to help this be better? Because everything don't have to be a fight.
Right.
If we
That's
can
true.
solve it, if we can solve it before it becomes that, then we can have a better school district.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
say to them. And so a lot of people, sometimes people will call me a weak president, because on the other, we have several unions, but you're the weak president. No, I'm the one that's God fearing.
All right. Okay.
So that's the way I approach things.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to, like you said, you don't have to mention God. You don't have to have a Bible. You don't have to have this big old thing cross laid
Big
across.
sign.
I'm a Christian. You
Right.
don't have to say that. It's how you do that. And people don't realize I get more from leadership because how I approach them, how I go to
Mm-hmm.
them, and
Mm-hmm.
things are handled. People don't even know. They don't know why
Right.
things are changed, and
Yeah.
things are changed because of the way I go to them, and they just like, Miss Walker, we really appreciate how you came to us, how you
Wow.
how you want to talk, and how we want to figure this out for our employees in the district. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of ways that you can approach everything that you do in a positive manner, even your daily life. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
hard, it's a struggle to do, even in our own households. It's hard sometimes staying
Mm-hmm.
in a positive mode when we know the dog barked, I don't know, different
Yeah.
things, but we
Mm-hmm.
just have to try to turn those things around
Yeah.
because otherwise we will be crazy.
Crazy and full of negativity. Right. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
But and you're absolutely right. I think we like you were saying, you can make a decision or a choice as to what it can be going on the outside and surrounding you, but I think we have to make a decision as to how much of that negativity I'm going to allow to penetrate
Mhm,
me, my mind,
mhm.
my thoughts, my words, my heart. The Bible said,
Right.
guard your own heart.
Mhm.
And so when the negativity comes, I think you got to have a plan. You got to know that for
Right.
everything that's negative, what can I come up with one
Right.
positive thing to
Positive.
cancel out that negativity? Because
Right.
that has to be your choice. And so, but even when we are having a bad day,
Mhm.
we don't have to make excuses. We just got to acknowledge we're having a bad day, and
Exactly. Exactly.
and just say, okay, I'm having a bad day, but the bad day don't have me.
Right.
And
Right.
like you,
Exactly.
when you
Exactly.
get out your car, because if it started somewhere else and you bring it into the building, you're bringing your negativity.
Exactly.
And also, I've learned that when you're at work, those things that happen at work need to stay at work. You don't need
E
to bring that to your home, and
Mhm.
vice versa. And so we need to
Right.
be
This is true.
aware of that. And so
That
we
is
don't.
so true. That's
Hmm.
so true. Because 90% of 10% of what someone does to you is 90% of how you react. Because
Exactly.
it's a choice of how you react to a person's actions or what they said to you. You don't have to blow off the handle every time.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes we want to.
Yeah.
We
I
want
mean,
to.
we're
We want to.
human. Yeah.
We want to go back and forth. We want to have the last word, but we don't
Hmm.
have to, because it's a way to just kind of attack different
That's
ways in our actions. And a lot of people will respect you more for your
right.
actions on how you act, how you react to a situation, as opposed to if she always, every time somebody say something to her, she always fly. You know what I'm saying? As
Absolutely.
opposed to, you know what? It's hardly anything that can get up under her skin. We can
Right.
let stuff get up under our skin, but
Of
it's
course.
how we react to it.
Yeah. And you know what? And this is what I think too. I think, we have, in order to, when we stay positive and we can recognize the negativity and begin to work on that and change it to something positive, I just believe it gives you peace.
Right.
I
Right.
think it gives you peace because ultimately, I don't know about you, but that's what I really want. And then,
Mhm.
like you said, when you are going to the district and you're battling for other people, when you go in there with this calmness and this peacefulness and not with your fist balled up and ready to fight. There's so many ways you can fight without physically fighting,
Right. Right. Right.
And so, but if they know that you come with a reputation that's going to be positive, it's going to be peaceful, and like you said, not always ready to fight and confront, but just seek to understand sometimes. I think
Right. Right.
that
Right.
that
Right.
helps us as well. Well,
Right.
Sheila, please give us your closing thoughts as we wind down and tell us how positive thinking can assist in building your best life.
Well, I think I've been speaking about it most of this evening, but
Yes.
but Carol, it just makes you feel better
Mm-hmm.
when you're positive, when you
It
have
does.
positive thoughts in your mind. It makes you feel better. It doesn't make you feel cranky or sad or whatever. It makes you relax better too. When you get ready to go
Mm-hmm.
to sleep at night, if you have some positive thoughts, you can just crash and go to sleep. You don't have to think about, oh Lord, what's next? And because sometimes we have some weary nights,
We
and it's
do.
because those thoughts in our mind, like, what's
Mm-hmm.
next? What do I
Mm-hmm.
do? How am I going to handle this? But if you have a peace about your life and be able to rest peacefully and know that, when I wake up in the morning, it's going to start all over, because you can't do everything in 24 hours. You only have
You
24 hours.
Right.
So, and I often say, like, things when I'm at work and I write myself notes like, I need to cover this today, cover this, and sometimes I don't get to it. That's the next thing on my top of my list when I get back to work the next day. Hey, I got to
Right.
handle this and go
Right.
from there.
Right.
But you go in with a positive mind frame. You go in
Mm-hmm.
with helping people. I always feel like if I can help somebody be better than when I met them, then I
Mm-hmm.
think I've done what God asked me to do.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's
Mm-hmm.
my piece on being positive and
Uh-huh.
building the best life. And a lot of times we have to pour that into our own kids, not
We
just
do.
kids here. We
Mm-hmm.
have to pour it into our own kids, and
Right.
I pour it into my grandkids when they're having a bad day or whatever. Hey, so and so, well, what did you do? Tell me
Mm-hmm.
what you did, and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how we're going to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have one that sometimes have low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a reason to have low self-esteem. You're beautiful, you're
Mm-hmm.
talented. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to pour those thoughts into others and our family as well. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we have to
Mm-hmm.
pour those, and then not even that, we have to pour those into ourselves.
I'm telling you, because if you don't pour them into yourself, it's kind of hard to pour them out to anyone else.
Exactly, exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, exactly.
Well, Sheila, this has been great. Thank you for all the information you've shared on Build Your Best Life. And always enjoy talking to you at church anyway, but it's
I
good to
know
be able
it.
to talk to you and catch us both where we're not running backwards and forth
I
and things like
know
that.
it. But you
But
know what,
you,
Carol, I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna tell Deborah I appreciate her too, even though she's on vacation.
yes,
But
yes.
I have truly enjoyed this evening. I'm glad that I was asked, and I'm
Uh-huh.
glad that I was able to share some things
Hmm.
about how to be positive and what
Hmm.
we can do to help one another, especially as women.
Exactly.
We have to lift each other. Some, like, when we see each other, sometimes I see it on you or you see it on me. It's like,
Exactly.
hey, we get that nudge and like, hey, thank you.
All right,
So
girl.
I appreciate you so
Yeah, I
more than
appreciate
you
you.
know.
Oh well, same here, and that's I love that God has done that, with us. And like you say, we don't talk every day on the phone, but
Right.
when we see each other, there's a certain look, and we know we need to be covering one another. And so
Right.
and we've done that for years. And like I said,
Exactly.
nobody may not even know that we do that, but I
Yes.
do appreciate that. And you know, Sheila, I've watched you and what was at your graduation and all those kind of things from college, but just to see what God is doing with you as you are reaching out and helping the community and helping our students to be able to want to build their best life. And so,
Right.
you know,
Right.
as a person who's a retired educator, my hats off to you. Continue to doing the great things that you're doing, because you are really influencing the next generation, and that
Right.
is so important. So to everyone else, thank you for joining us, and please tune in on Thursday. I'll be back with Coffee Chat with Miss Anita, and we will be talking about some other things about what many people don't realize is damaging them. So as Miss Deborah always say, as you travel on the road to building a better life, there will be distractions, pit stops, rough terrains, and detours. But don't let any of these negative aspects of your journey stop you. Although they may slow you down, keep going to be a better you. Building your best life is her business, as she say. So remember that. And she said it's not a slogan, it is a commitment. And I really believe that is too. So Sheila, thank you once again. And I will see you Sunday,
All
and have a
righty.
good rest of the
All
evening.
right. You too, Carol. All right.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. All right.
You
Bye
too.
bye.